and welcome everybody to Go Toku Reviews. I am Ramses Rivera, and to left of me is Eric.
Hey guys.
So, just give you guys a brief little introduction, just really quick. We decided that we wanted we love tokusatsu, and we decided, well, why don't we try a tokusatsu show? So, well, that's what we're gonna be here. That's what we're trying out here today. We're trying a tokusatsu show. And seeing where how we feel by doing this. So, the shows we're gonna cover today are Kyoryuger. Wow, I can't believe I got it right. Kyoryuger, Kamen Rider Wizard, and Power Rangers Megaforce. And if anything other show pops up, but between now and by any other show that pops in during this time of recording, or if any other show pops in that as these days go by, then we'll try to cover it as well. So why don't we start off with Kyoryuger? How does that sound with you?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, but he doesn't know that they're Kyoryugers. So what ends up happening after that? A monster appears, and he goes into action, and he realizes that Gaburincho was also following from Japan to wherever the hell he was. So, they go on the offensive, and they beat the monster. And then Torrance says, "Oh, by the way, here, take these batteries. This might be able to work for you." So he does. He transforms. He becomes Kyoryu Red. And then after that, we get the rest of the Kyoryus appear, and they beat the monster, and everybody dances.
Yeah, what's cool about this is you kind of see their own distinct styles. I would say, Kyoryu Red, he's kind of all over the place. He has his fighting style is pretty interesting. What I really liked about this, and what I kind of like about Sentai in general, is that if there's a specific theme involved, the Rangers will actually kind of fight much like what they're based off of, rather as opposed to Power Rangers where it's just generic bastardized karate, and somehow after being able to transform, they mysteriously know how to fight in whatever particular martial art that they appear to be. So looking at the rest of the cast, you have Ian, which is Kyoryu Black, and he kind of plays off the I'm the really cool guy vibe. He's also a bit of a womanizer too, at the beginning of their introduction. But I guess he's a pretty good. I guess he's a gunslinger. I guess if you can gather that from just from what the episode shows. The dude is he's laying him out, taking him down. Let's see, Kyoryu Blue. He kind of has that strongman vibe. Basically, I really don't necessarily want to use my weapons, but I guess I need to. Because he looks straight up I'm just gonna fucking power through everything.
Kind of like the Mammoth Ranger from Zoo Ranger.
Yeah, Goshi. Kyoryu Green, I guess he fancies swords and blades. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like his style a lot, and he's probably just right off the back, I really like him as far as the cast goes. Plus, I'm really, really curious to know more about his character. Kyoryu Pink, can't really say much. She just, she's a typical Pink Ranger from what it seems like. But she looks like she can hold her own, which is really, really good. And yeah, moving on, we have the weapons. We have I guess it's the Gabo revolver. Yeah, the Gabo revolver.
It's an interesting weapon. Like I said, the thing is, I'm not really too keen on anything gimmick, way too gimmicky. I think this is one of those things where it falls into the way too gimmicky kind of phase. But that's fine for what it is. It's goofy. It's a goofy series, so I'm down for this.
Yeah, I had someone bring this up. We don't really see too many weapon changers. I think the last one that we really had was, of course, the Beatbuster and Stagbuster. They're changer. I don't remember the name of it, to be honest with you. I'm lost. But beyond that, there really hasn't really been any. If you count the Go-Ongers, if you count Gun Wings, they had the rocket trigger and the wing dagger.
Yeah.
And then even at that point, you had for Geki Chopper, his I guess his side-eye blade or whatever.
Mhm.
That was a changer, and it was also pretty much a weapon. Other than that, there really hasn't been any as far as Sentai is concerned.
Yeah.
But it is still pretty interesting. Other than that, suit design, it looked a little weird to me at first, mostly just because that stripe.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of the Gingaman suits, but it's growing on me now, and I actually do like a lot. Like I kind of like the kind of Under Armour look that it has. Like as far as like the sleeves are concerned, like if you look at it, it's really like it has that weird kind of scaly design. It reminds me a lot of the Hurricaneer suits, how they had like the armor underneath the actual suit itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
The helmets are interesting to say the least. Yeah, that's really as best as I can say.
All right. So, let me throw in a few things here. Well, one of the things that one of the things that I noticed is like this was a very 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 much a Red Ranger themed episode. Like, but all the Sentais are like that. Where we're focused on the Red Ranger. I think the last time that we really broke from that mold was when we first saw the first episode of oh my god of Toku. So
Yeah.
after that, after that we got another Red Ranger focused episode on Go Buster, but that's fine. That's going back to basics. But I think even in Go Buster, we got a good idea of who everybody was. And I think this is a complaint that everybody just doesn't really like. We don't have
They
a good
show up
feeling.
on their own accord.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think they could have done a lot more with that diner scene.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of just I guess the way that they felt they wanted to go ahead and go through with this. I mean I have a bit of a complaint in regards to it just because I feel that they could have done a lot more. To be honest, I guess if they're really focusing on Daigo, then they don't necessarily need to go with that. But another interesting thing is they didn't technically meet, if you think about it.
True.
Where they didn't have an introduction with each other at the beginning of the episode, and they did kind of meet each other. None of them knew who each other were. Like basically, they didn't know. Okay, he's a Kyoryuger. He didn't know he was a Kyoryuger as well. And at the end of the episode, Daigo, he powers down, and he powers down, and he tells him, he's like, why don't we meet each other? And they're just like, no, it's better that we stay this way, and we just kind of focus on our battle without getting to know each other. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm pretty sure that's going to change within the next episode or two. They're going to kind of get to know each other better. I have a feeling that it's kind of going to be the way of the Go-Onger layout, where we have red, blue, and yellow kind of make a team for at least like the first part of it.
Uh-huh.
Or not red. Why did I say red, yellow, and blue? Wow, I forgot. No Yellow Ranger. I guess in this situation it's going to be red, blue, and pink. And then I guess black and green are going to kind of jump in at the end, towards the end on their own accord. But I'm curious to see how it where it goes at this point. Mm-hmm. But I think it should be good. But that's just my own assumption as far as this is concerned.
Another thing I want to talk about a little bit is the villains themselves. Like, we got to see a little bit of the villains. They're basically all these emotional monsters. Basically, each one represents an emotion. So, what do you think of that?
I actually like it. I mean, we discussed this a little bit before, where you never really have an overlying theme with enemies. You just kind of have them there. Sometimes they'll be a part of a specific race. Other times they'll be a part of, say, like a common enemy in a sense. But in this situation, they, as you said, they're based upon, emotions. You have rage, you have sorrow, you have, or I guess anger, you have sorrow, you have happiness, just things like that. And then you also have the one that kind of like is like the overlying one. But it is really interesting as far as things are concerned. I'm interested to see how this progresses. to be honest with you, just because, like we said, we haven't really had this before as an actual thing, where we had we had a theme for the actual enemies themselves. I mean, anything you want to go ahead and chime in on, go ahead, but that's just my thing. I'm really excited to see where this progresses with them.
Same thing here. It's like I really like, it's something very unique. Where it's just like for all of the last time they really did something like that in Sentai was in Bokanger. And then after that, they were their own little thing. Either they were either it was themed within the Sentai, or they just really had no theme. They're just like they were generic bad guys. So,
yep.
But this was very good so far. Like it gives a little bit more life to the series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that a proper way to say it? It gives more along the lines. It gives them more life to the enemies themselves. And
they're not just there.
Yeah, there's something more going on with them, so that's pretty cool. And another aspect that I wanted to bring up was Thorin for a little bit. What did you think of him for?
I was a little weirded out by his design at the beginning, but I kind of warmed up to it. It was what you said. It actually is really, really cool. I kind of hope he isn't just necessarily a mentor. Like, I hope he kind of has more of a role as far as, fighting is concerned. What I would love is another Doshikaku, where, he gives them his guidance and he helps them along. And just seeing something like that would be honestly really, really cool. But it's really too early to kind of tell whether or not that is going to be the case. But it's something that I'm hoping for and I'm rooting for.
Yeah, same here. I really like his design was really cool, and but like I said, like he's kind of like I'm kind of confused. Maybe it was a translation that I saw that about his intentions, but maybe like once the series progresses, that all that will be ironed out. I guess also the same thing I was gonna say, where it's just like maybe all this will get ironed out. We have like 47 episodes to go, so it's like I wouldn't put it past them. That's like that they eventually ironed everything out. So it's like that's fine. Like let's let that slow build go really, really, really slow. So any other thoughts that you want to bring up about Kyoryuger?
I like the weapons a bit. The Gabu caliber, the Gabu revolver. I think they look really cool. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm campaigning this. I really like the fact that it's a weapon and a changer at the same time. It makes things a bit better as far as usefulness is concerned, where it's not just kind of there. So I'm really kind of happy about that. I'm really anxious to see their own personal weapons, just because I know that really hasn't been something in Sentai since, I'm going to say, Goseiger. Because Gokaiger, they didn't have their own personal weapons, and in
Go Buster didn't have
they didn't have their own. Yeah, they didn't have their own personal weapons at that point either. But beyond that, the mecha still needs to grow on me. I'm not really too big a fan of it. Like I said, if you were there for the panel at Anime Los Angeles this year, or if you watch the video after, it looks kind of like if Engino and Gaburincho, if they kind of had like sex, and you had this kind of like a little bastard baby mecha come out of it, and that's the new Robo. It looks like a totem pole.
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna be very, very brief there. I'm just gonna say that the pink is what throws me off out of it. Anyways, I guess that's about it for Kyoryuger. So why don't we move on to the next series, which is going to be
Kamen Rider Wizard episode 23.
Sorry, the bell rang. Yeah, Kamen Rider Wizard episode 23. We were like, what? Episode 23? I thought we were at episode 21. But and it was a really good episode. It was a really good episode, but like, I don't know. Like, it feels like, like, I don't know. Maybe when I lay it out, maybe we can figure out what the problem is with the episode. So basically, Phoenix, the Phoenix Phantom has been screwing with Wizard, and he captured one of his friends, and he wounds him, and he's like, hey, why don't you fight me? Why don't you fight me? 1-on-1. Go bring it on, bitch. He's like, no, I gotta defend the people. You don't understand. And he's like, well, fine. I'm just gonna do whatever with this woman. So he lays him out. They send him to the hospital, and he's just distraught that he brought this onto himself. Meanwhile, during all this, Beast tries to go after him, but he's like, really, dude, really? Come on, no, you think you can beat me, dude? He's like, right, fine, whatever. So he's like, look, dude. Like, as much as I really like the character, it's just like it was one of those things where it's just like he's like, really, dude? Like, I'm like up here, and you're a lowly man compared to me. Come on. You think you're gonna fight me? It's like,
well, you gotta hand it to Kosuke. He's really outgoing. Yeah, and he doesn't really he degaffs it. And he's like, I don't care how strong you are. I want to eat you. Yeah, I want to have you. He wants him, but he's like, but Phantom's like, he ain't gonna have. Like, it's funny. It's like Phantom is like not saying to him like come at me like and prove to he's right. No, he's like, yeah, really, dude. Phoenix is just like, I don't want to bother with you, but why are you trying to fight me, dude?
Like, it's like, dude, I'm trying to eat you for God's sake. But it's like, you don't understand. I want your partner, not you. So shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, his eyes are bigger than his belt.
Yeah, but I mean, he's really cool
to play on that.
But going on with the episode, so basically after that, he goes.
Haruto kind of doubts himself. He doesn't know whether or not he should be doing this, if he has what it takes to be a wizard.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have everyone chime in on it. Kiyomi says, look, you brought us all hope. You brought us all together. And if you feel that, you're not good enough, just kind of look at the people around you and who are surrounding yourself. Or surrounding, you.
Yeah.
And so he thinks about it and he's just like, okay, yeah, that is the case. I am, I'm focused on the people around me and I have to help them.
Yeah.
And I have to give it my all. If I don't have that, then what else do I have? And so Phoenix goes and he starts destroying shit again. And
actually, no. What ended up happening is Wizard goes Hantaro. What am I saying? No. Oh God. Anyway, so. Yeah. Hantaro. Like he just suddenly appears because what ended up happening before is like he. What ends up happening is Phoenix tells Kyosuke. By the way, can you tell Wizard that meet me at a certain day where we first fought? And he's like, fine.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they don't necessarily need to explain it because it's just like, okay, if he tells him, have him meet me where we first fought. And I was just like, wait, how is Kosuke getting in that location? But I think that's the point.
Yeah.
He doesn't want him getting involved and he just wants to go ahead and fight him by himself.
Yeah.
And so thinking about that, I'm like, okay, that does make a bit more sense. But you have Kosuke getting ahead of himself, and it really shows. And then at that point too, it's one of those things where you have the secondary writer. He's getting a lot more into it. I mean, with fours, even at this point in the series, Meteor wasn't really doing anything with the team. He would show up and he would fight, and he would leave. At that point, he was still trying to keep it to himself.
I mean, the last time I saw secondary writer start taking action early was with Birth. Birth was like, after he came, I was like, bitch, I'm Birth.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna do this because I need to. Well, because he had that. He's like, I need to make 1 million yen.
Yeah, he needs to get 1 million yen. That was the thing. But it's like, he was like, bitch, I am like, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. But it's like, for the first time, he's like taking we see a secondary writer take action. So, I mean, it's good that he is, because like, you get, because it's very rare that like the Meteor, like, what I didn't like about it, it's like it felt like he was just there for like a long period of time, and then when something happened, it was like way later than it should. And usually I'm more used to like something like right now for a secondary writer for them to start taking action, and I'm very happy that they finally heard me somehow, and they actually made Kyosuke very, very much active.
Yeah. So that is good itself, and I mean, if you want to kind of keep going on the actual episode itself.
So basically,
keep running off on tangents.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So basically, after that, Hantaro and the Phoenix Wizard, they fight, and and he wins. He becomes a Dragon Blaze. He becomes Dragon Flame form and beats the living you know what out of him. And the day is saved.
He pulls a he makes him take the cooler ending, where he just basically pushes him into the sun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, holy fucking shit, that is that's brutal and amazing at the same time. And that's pretty much it about for the episode. Like after that, happy ending. He doesn't doubt himself, and then, la back to normal. So
yeah, we have with that too. With this episode, we have the introduction of Gremlin. Kind of the actual introduction, because beforehand it was just like he's there. I guess this guy didn't really do anything. Oh well, I mean he's here. He's here. That has to count for something. And then he actually does kind of introduce. Well, introduces him at the end. But I mean that there's that. He looks a lot like a mix between Enter and Bosco, I guess.
I was gonna say, I thought for a while it was the guy who played Enter. I was like, what? Who are you again? Because he looked familiar. He looked familiar. I was like, is this guy? Have I seen this guy before? But then again, like I'm not gonna make the obvious joke here, so I'm gonna refrain from it. I'm gonna be a better person from this. Anyways, what were your thoughts on the episode, or any points you want to bring up about the episode?
Yeah, I want to talk about Maho Rider Wizard, where basically he's a dragon timer, and he has Flame Dragon, Land Dragon, I think Wind Dragon, and Water Dragon come out.
Yeah.
And he has all four of them fighting at the same time. I thought that was pretty cool, but I thought it was also just kind of a little bit ridiculous. But it was still pretty cool. As far as that's concerned, I mean, it's cool. We're getting a lot of his abilities really, really, I wouldn't say early on in the series, but they're kind of progressing a lot more than, I would say, a lot more than most of the other riders. Because, I mean, we've already had the 3 forms. We've already have the 3, the 4 forms, the powered-up versions of the 4 forms. Mm-hmm. And, even at that point, kind of like a higher level of the powered-up forms, where it's the All-Dragon, which I honestly thought it was cool, but it looks like a Battleizer. Like, it looks like a Battleizer from Power Rangers.
I don't know. Battleizers are more armored up.
And you don't think all dragons armored up?
It just has wings that has a thing on its. It has a thing on it coming out of its shoulder, and a wing.
It has the dragon's head. It has the claws. It has the tail, and then it also has the wings.
It's like the thing is like with that, it has to have a ridiculous looking armor, a ridiculous looking helmet. I mean, it still looks like Wizard. It still looks like Wizard at least. So I'm like, I'll give it a pass that it still looks like the Kyoryuger. But I mean, I'll get to it later when I get to my thoughts. Like it was like, like other than that, I thought the episode, I thought that was cool. But go on.
Yeah, no, it was. It showed how far he's really to go for his friends, and I thought that was the coolest part. So, yeah, I'm warming up a lot towards the actual episode, because before I was just kind of like, Wizard's getting really kind of stale for me. When Beast came in, I was pretty stoked on that, and then the opening Joy Rider just kind of basically kind of wore off, and then we're just left with he's a guy who throws himself into every situation.
Yeah,
I guess this is kind of cool, but it's good for what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing about I mean, usually Kamen Rider series go through this lull during the teen, after episode 10. It's usually I usually like to say it just goes it just stays in this weird level where nothing really happens. And then around the 20s or so, when a new around the same time a new Sentai starts, usually then that's when they give it a kick in the pants and something starts happening.
Yeah, it picks up.
Yeah, because I think because they'll be like, oh, people are watching Sentai, so they're gonna start watching this show again. So we better do something. We better make good and actually have something happen. Because I remember when Gokaiger started. This was the same time when O's was around on the midpoint, and they didn't really do much. And then they introduced the Lost Ankh, and I was like, oh! And then that got really good after that, in my opinion, at least. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go quickly off tangent. I really love that second part of O's with the Puta stuff. I love that stuff. You know, people don't, but you know what? Come at me, bro. Anyways, is that
so wait, which part? Which part? It's because you kind of cut out for a little bit.
The Puta stuff.
Where AG's becoming more of a greed.
Yes, I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that. Like, some people don't.
It was good. It reminded me a lot of the Orphanok issues that Takumi had.
Yeah, I really like that. Anyways, this is Kamen Rider Wizard. That is Kamen Rider O's. We'll discuss O's, not in the near future, but like if you bring it up to us at the con, we'll talk about it. Anyways, let me go really quick on my thoughts on the episode. I really liked it. It was really intense. It was like really character driven. And the only part I didn't really like is when we saw the flame dragon form, and it cut to the CG. Like, oh my god, I think I can make this CG better. Like, oh my god, that was the thing that was bugging me the most. I was like, oh my god, they didn't really cheap on the CG, did they? Oh my god, they did.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it reminded me of kind of like the I'm not gonna say like the shitty CGI, but like if you remember the fight in Gaburincho, I know I don't want to go like off topic a lot, but the fight in Gaburincho when they first move on to their super Geki forms.
Yeah.
And you have that like weird aerial fight between Rio and Jan.
Yeah. And
where he's just like, okay, I have jets on my back and on my side. Okay, let me throw you up in the air and then let me just attack you. And it just looks really, really cheesy. I know it's a kid's show, but it's still just the shitty CG just irks me a bit.
No, not just that. It's like, yeah, I mean, we've seen on other writer shows where they have really good CG. I mean, or maybe they do a really good job in the sky in the really bad CG, but they did. I mean, they really good in the sense of like, well, either the skies are really good or they actually it's really good. And this is the case where it's like it just hits you over the goddamn head that it looks horrid. But other than that, I really liked the episode. I really did.
Yeah.
And like, that's weird. Like, I'm gonna pull back the veil a little bit. I had to marathon the entire thing, and like, you know, I'm very sorry. I wish I could put my hand on you right now, but it's like I haven't watched Wizard until this week.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
I was like, oh my god, I'm like, the word sucker is written across my head right about now. Just like, oh my god, how could I have been such a sucker with this series? I was like, oh my god, this and that. I didn't like Wizard, I didn't like the design, but I'm like, I am the world's biggest sucker ever. I really am, and I'm willing to admit it right now. And like, I am on this train. I am gonna be on this train for Wizard now, whether I like it or not at this point. But I'm like, I really liked it, and this episode was really, really good, really, really good.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts? Any other things you want to bring up before we go on to our next topic?
No, I mean, we're pretty good as far as things are concerned. The series itself is progressing pretty well. I'm liking where we're at this point. Yeah, that's really all I can say.
All right.
Without kind of like, I wouldn't say divulging too much information or kind of going off on a random tangent. But
why don't we go on to our last show then? Why don't we go to our last show, which is a surprise? We're gonna talk about Power Rangers Megaforce.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Megaforce to me was like, this week's episode was actually really good. It was actually really good. Now looking upon it, it's like maybe I was a little too harsh on the episode of Wizard, because I'm looking back, I was like, holy crap, that was a good episode. But now I'm like looking back also at Megaforce, and Megaforce was actually a banged up episode for all things considered. So basically, the episode starts with, why am I talking like this? Anyways, so Jake and Noah they're in a computer room at their high school, And Jake tells him, "By the way, you think you can fix my axe for me?" And he hands him the big axe that he uses when he's a ranger. I'm like, "Huh, that's interesting. So the Rangers can run around with their weapons now?" And I'm thinking, second thing I'm thinking to myself is like, this is an American school. You think that you don't think like you don't think like a metal detector goes off with a guy carrying a big fucking axe? Anyway,
yeah,
so
no, I understand. Yeah, it is a kind of a bit it is a bit out there as far as things are concerned.
So after that, so basically he Noah has the axe in his hand. He's wondering, this thing's way too heavy. You know, I got why can't I be like like the rest of the guys, strong and all this stuff. So it's a little bit of self doubt on Noah's part that he's not as strong, or he's not as strong as all the other Rangers are. So we then cut to Emma, Gia, and Troy, and we cut to them, and they get attacked. They get attacked by the bad guys, and the bad guys are like, "We're gonna make a bad guy that has a virus, and now we're gonna destroy the world with this virus." So Monster comes up, he starts to sneeze at everybody, and everybody starts to have a virus, and they all turn into the mooks, and the Rangers are like, "We can't fight them. They're actually real people." So they had to call on everybody all together to help him out, and and it's pretty much like a growth episode for Noah. Noah realizes that it's his smarts that make him the most valuable member to the team, just as like Troy, his leadership, and Jake and his strength, and Emma with her speed and all this other stuff. So he eventually realizes his place with the team. They beat the monster. The monster grows, and that's it. I know it's kind of basic, but I think the more basic you try to do a series, I think it's better, especially this early into any series. I think establishing who the characters are is needed. After the very first, the thing was, what I didn't like about the first episode of Megaforce was that it really was okay, here are these guys. You have no personality other than a very blanketed personality. As a matter of fact, I think Troy still is to me just a plank of wood to me. Am I mistaken on this? Anyways, so other than that, he's very much other than that, bearing that first episode, it was very we get to see a little bit more of the personalities of all the other Rangers, and this is kind of a good growth for all the characters. We get a little bit more of an insight what the characters are and stuff like that. So
yeah, that was really cool. I mean, my biggest gripe with it was just kind of just the way that, the acting. I should realize by now you should never go into Power Rangers, a Power Ranger series, expecting the acting to be top notch quality, but God, just some of the characters, just the way that they kind of talk, like Noah, I believe, the Blue Ranger.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Oh God. I feel like I'm watching The Room again. He's kind of almost as bad as Tommy Wiseau.
Well, no, I know what they're trying to go with him. Noah, they're trying to make him into the stereotypical geek, i.e., they're trying to make him to a Big Bang Theory geek, which is okay, fine. But as long as there is growth within the character, I'm perfectly fine. Because unlike those douchebags, this character is actually important.
Yeah.
So it's that's fine. That's fine if they're gonna go with that route, and hopefully he'll grow out of being and be a little bit more self-confident. As a matter of fact, he was that really annoying in this episode, believe it or not, with his acting. You get to see not too much. Come on, it's still Power Rangers, but it's gotten sequentially better.
Yeah. It has gotten quite a bit.
The only guy I really have a problem with is the guy they got to do Troy. And no offense to any of these actors, it's just I just said earlier, I'm better off looking at a plank of wood. What are you? What is your personality? What are you exactly? But I really can't That's one of the things where they improved so much also on what Power Rangers Samurai was. Power Rangers Samurai...
Yeah, no, they really did. But it's just... There is room for improvement, but then again, it is an actual series. It is just the beginning of the series. I'm surprised that they're only going to have about 20 or so episodes for this particular season, and then they're going to go on to season 2, which hasn't really been discussed yet, but that's something that we'll get into towards the future. But as far as the series is concerned, I think it had a good, strong opening. It's kind of easier to watch than Ghost Sager, to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Ghost Sager in its own right was good, but that's just giving it a lot of credit. But I don't want to talk about that series when we're trying to talk about Power Rangers right now.
No, that's the thing. It's like, whoa. Anyways, what I like, and that's the thing I liked most about Megaforce was just like, here you have this Sentai where it was like, take it what you will, and now we get to Megaforce and they actually took whatever like that and they actually made it into something. It's just maybe it's something right now they're trying to find like their own like niche into it. Like the thing was like again like the thing what I didn't like about Power Rangers Samurai, it's like it just didn't like it just felt like they didn't know what they were doing. Like they wanted to do one thing and they just went and they just didn't really stick with it and they weren't really consistent with it. Like there would be times where they would actually copy and paste an entire fucking episode of Shinkanger and just with American actors. As a matter of fact, I remember we were at San Diego Comic Con. I swear to God, like me and Stan were like 5% of this fucking episode is fucking Shinkanger. Like 5% of this episode is original. Like we were like, oh my god, like this is someone's copying their notes and no one's taking notice about this. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But here with Megaforce, they really are trying to break out of their own. Even though again, my opinions with the first episode was like, oh my god, why are you copying your big brother's notes from 25 years ago? Sorry, that's my inner teacher. That's my inner teacher speaking, kids. This is my inner educator speaking. My inner educator has just come out with that. It's like I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to pull a fast one on me, but no. But now that I see more episodes, I feel like they're on their own. They're in their own little thing now. That's perfect. And right now it's like for a Power Rangers series, especially right now, this is actually better than the alternatives. Though granted, there are better shows there are better Power Rangers shows, but for what we got right now, this is the best. This is actually really good.
Yeah, for what it's worth, it is really good. And I'm looking forward to just seeing a lot more out of it and just seeing where it kind of goes with it. Just because Samurai was pretty bad. I didn't really give RPM too much credit, just because I really didn't like Goanger. Jungle Fury, oh god, I'm puking in my mouth right now. Let's see, I'm drawing blanks. I really am.
Mystic Force. Well, Operation Overdrive, like oh my god.
Yeah.
And then Mystic Force, oh god. Before that, it was SPD. SPD was actually really good. Really, I'll give SPD.
It was really good. It was good for what it was.
SPD, I'll give a pass. Same thing with Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder and SPD, fine. And then before that too, it was Ninja Storm and
Ninja Storm was so.
Wild
Force.
Yeah. Actually, I liked Wild Force up to a certain point. I liked it.
Time Force. Wow.
I think it's automatic. I think Time Force is like an automatic pass no matter what. It was funny, like during what was it during Morphicon last year? While you guys were like having fun without me.
I didn't go to Morphicon last year, so
okay, so
I think that's just Stan and Deb.
If you're listening, Stan and Deb, we love you. By the same time, I swear to God, we're gonna take a folding chair, just bash it over your head, Stan. Anyways, so while they're away, I think they're playing the algorithm like there's a convention going. Why don't we play like the best Power Ranger series ever? And they're playing it on fucking Nicktoons all week and that weekend. I was like, and it made me even feel even shittier. I was at Morphicon. I was like, oh my god, I could be meeting these people right now. Look how awesome this series is. I'm like almost in tears.
Jack Southworth is like one of the coolest people ever.
I know.
Friends, they ran into him when they were heading back to their hotel room at Morphicon, and he was just completely wasted in the elevator. And he was trying to pick up on one of my friends. And it was
I love this guy. I love this guy already. Anyways, well, after that, like it just goes. It like we're going now very deep into it. Like, so why don't we scale all this back to Power Rangers Megaforce and say that, for what, like, I know we keep on saying this a lot, but it's like, for what it's worth, this is actually a really good series. Like, give it actually a very fair chance. It's actually, so you'll be surprised.
Yeah, like with everything we talked about today. Remember, guys, it's a kids show. It's not supposed to be, it's not supposed to be gold. It's designed to entertain children with attention spans that are like ours, but more simple-minded.
Huh? What were you talking about, huh?
What?
Huh?
I'm sorry, did you say something? Huh?
Anyways, so any closing thoughts before we head out?
No, I mean, this was just this is the first episode of this particular podcast, so it is a bit rough. We're still kind of getting back to our rhythm, but no, it should be good a lot better on. And for the most part, we look forward to kind of just talking a bit more about the series that we're reviewing, and just seeing what kind of what the future holds for this particular podcast. And honestly, we'd love a lot more input. If you guys have any sort of questions for either of us, our information's on the actual page itself, whether it be plasticjoint.com or Facebook/plasticjoint. Even if you just type in plastic joint in the actual search bar on Facebook, you'll find us. And if you have any questions for us specifically, just contact us. And like Ramsey said, if you see us at conventions and you want to go ahead and talk to us, feel free to do so. We are open to any sort of questions whatsoever. And if you want to hear fanboys rage, contact us.
We have a lot of it.
Oh yeah, we do.
But yeah, so yeah, I think in closing, I know the thing is kind of rough, but I think when we were transitioning into it was just you and me doing count out, it was kind of rough too. But you know what? We found our niche. So, if you have any like the big man said, if you have any complaints or any other thoughts, anything you want to anything you want to rap with us about, just leave us a comment. We'll find us, like, our contact information should be everywhere. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I think I'll close this out. How's that sound?
Yeah, go for it.
So, alright, so again, the address is at www.plasticjoint.com. Again, the address is www.plasticjoint.com. As for me, I am Ramses, and that is Eric, and
yep.
I don't know, like, I don't know how to really close this show now. Just if you got any suggestions, leave us a comment for how we close the show.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, let's do that. Let's take a suggestion. We're going to put up a poll, and however you want, and keep this, kind of PG. Appropriate to the actual show itself. Give us make it. Basically, we're going to have a poll. You can suggest your own answers, and winner will go ahead and win a prize. And that prize will be determined. More than likely, it's going to be a figure from the actual series. Probably not a figure art, but something close. Whether it be Megaforce or something else along those lines. But just kind of give us we're going to put up a poll on what you think you should be the closing. And if you have any sort of answers, we're going to go ahead and leave the answers up. And whoever comes with the best one, like I said, will win the prize. How's that sound? You down for that, Ramses?
Well, it's up to you. That's all I gotta say.
Yep, I'm down for that.
Alright, so then, yeah. You heard it, man. So, leave us a comment. So, see y'all later.
Yep.